folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Week in Review on the Dice Tower. We're going to go back to this past week, take a look at all the different reviews and videos we did, give you a short description. Then you can watch the whole video if you want to see more about those particular games by clicking the links in the description below. Let's pass it to Z and get this thing started.
Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. So last week I reviewed 3 games. I reviewed K2 Lhotse. This is an expansion to K2. I rate this a 7 out of 10. This is already a second expansion to the game. We already had Broad Peak for the game. This one gives you another double-sided board. One side being the typical, just sort of varying formation, but the other side has a couple of new concepts in play. You can attach your own rope now, for example, to go from one location to another that are not normally connected. There's a couple of new things in it. It's a nice expansion. It's going to give you a nice amount of replayability if you've played a lot of K2. I also reviewed La Viña. I rate this a 7 out of 10 as well. And in this one, you are collecting different grapes in a vineyard that you are trying to restore to its full splendor, and then selling those things you've collected for rewards, for prestige. It's got a lot of gameplay in a fairly small box. It's very attractive. I like it a lot. The reason it's not higher on my rating is because it's a little restrictive, and it's slightly long as well for the sort of evolution of the game. You're kind of doing the same things at the end as you are at the beginning. Lastly, I reviewed Parks, and I rate this a 7.5 out of 10. I like this a little bit more. Also, beautiful, beautiful game about the national parks. And you are going to be moving your travelers, ahead, trying to collect resources and then use them to visit different parks. This game's a little bit similar to La Viña in many ways. You must always be moving forward. You're collecting things, spending them for different bonuses. But this one I find a little more free form. It gives you more tools and things to play with, and it's a little more rewarding, I think. So there you go. That's it for me. Thanks for checking that out. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to another Week in Review. I'm Sam Healey, and this is
Aedan.
And we did a couple videos last week where we reviewed, first of all, we reviewed a game called Flipside Jam, which was a little set collection drafting game that was pretty cool. What did you think?
It was some fun stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. So we did that one, and we also did a comparison video of Ubongo and Ubongo Extreme. Which one of those did you like the best?
Ubongo.
Yeah.
Ubongo Extreme was like way too hard.
Yeah.
I would get one spot correct, but the other spot I would just get incorrect, and it was just hard.
Yeah, it was hard and not as fun, but Ubongo was pretty fun. And then I did a review of some stuff from some KeyForge accessories type stuff from a new company called GameGenic, Ingenious Supplies. That was some pretty cool stuff, so you can check that out. And then we also played games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, live for GenCan't. So that was some pretty cool times as well. So you can check all those videos out, and that's pretty much it. Let's get back to the rest of your review. Bye.
Peace.
All right, well, I took a look at a couple games I did not like at all. The Undo series, which is kind of an escape room in a box type game with a story. It's a murder mystery, but it is themeless, bland, and I honestly hated them, and I played all 3 of them. I didn't like any of them. LAMA, this one I gave a much closer look to than I might normally because it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, but it is essentially Uno, but less fun, if that's conceivable. I took a look at the 2 of the newest Exit games. One I thought was okay, I had a few puzzles I wasn't fond of. The other one was more interesting, and they both had unique puzzles, but I'm starting to feel the limitations of the Exit series. Greetings from Grandville. This is a kids game in which they have to move around to different spots on the board using these buses that are moving on bus routes. Great graphics and components, and just the idea of jumping on and off buses will be fun for kids. Roll for Adventure. This is a cooperative dice game in which you're going to roll dice multiple times, placing those dice on the board, fighting off monsters. It's kind of a generic fantasy theme, but I really did enjoy the play, and I like the different options that the game has. It is on the lighter end of cooperative games, but that's good to have those around. Passtally, not light. I mean, it looks light, but a fairly heavy connection game So you're placing these connections on this board, and they're going to be, as you connect these lines, that you're also building tiles at a different height. And really, really thinky game. Only for 2 to 3 players, but I really enjoyed it. Overbooked. This is about filling up an airplane with people and not kicking too many of them off the flight because you've overbooked it. Silly theme, silly artwork, I guess, on a serious theme in a sense, but it is a lot of fun. It's basically trying to put people in the right seats to score points. A unique, simple way. This is an overlooked game, probably. Check it out. Animouv. This is a 2-player game for kids. Really gorgeous production. You're simply moving pieces around a board, checker style almost, to then get 3 animals in a row. Simple, but works really well. Carnival of Monsters from Richard Garfield. This is a drafting game. I think it could have even been better with a few small tweaks, but as it is, it's still very interesting. And it initially looks a little like Magic the Gathering, but it's a very different style game. It's kind of like Bunny Kingdom without the board. I'm comparing it to his other games, I guess, but it does feel like its own thing as you draft lands and monsters, and has a unique, hey, take a card, use it later, but pay for it now idea in it. Machi Koro Legacy. Played through the entire Machi Koro Legacy, and it is interesting in this game because it's a 10-game legacy setup, but at the end of it, you have a fully functional Machi Koro game. Shobu. This is a fantastic, classic style 2-player abstract strategy game where you're pushing pieces off a board, using your pieces to push someone else's pieces off. A really neat idea. Highly recommend it. And then Horrified, that's my favorite game of the week. This takes the Universal Studios monsters, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Wolfman, Invisible Man, and you have to stop them. And there's different, you fight 2, 3, or 4 of the monsters. It's a cooperative game, really cool components and graphics. Simple, but it can be also difficult. Each game will feel different from the rest. I haven't been this excited about a cooperative game in a while. Just really cool. And then you might have seen, I haven't known because I'm recording this in the past, but we may have put up some of our GenCan't coverage this past week since we're at GenCan't, or we were at GenCan't when you see this. However, if not, that GenCan't coverage will be the following week. Either way, thanks so much for watching Week in Review. I'm Tom Vasel, and this is the Dice Tower.